Hi, my name is Logan Rencher, and today I will be discussing the topic of cyberbullying. Think about how often you use social media. Now think about how many other people in the world use social media. www.statista.com has recent research on their websites that states the latest estimate number of total social media users worldwide. The latest number is 1.96 million. At least half of these users have been or currently are being cyberbullied. Cyberbullying can lead to such things as anxiety, depression, uses of drugs, and even something as violent as suicide. Harsher punishments for cyberbullying need to be put into place since this is a form of violence among teens that can do long-term damage to a person so young. Lately, I've heard many cyberbullying cases that have significantly affected a person's life and caused them to fall into a state of depression. This also causes low self-esteem, which is something that leaves a lasting effect on he or she. Even myself has undergone a form of cyberbullying, and knowing that so many other people have to deal with it also breaks my heart. This is a very serious issue that needs to be stopped today. Today I will inform you about why cyberbullying is a problem, the reasoning behind why people do it, and the best for last, the solution to help decrease the rate of bullying that goes on over social media. Why is cyberbullying a problem? If this violent act can cause a child who has their whole future ahead of them to shoot themselves, jump off a bridge, overdose, cut themselves, or do any of this harm to another person, then it is definitely a problem that we need to find a solution to. Technology such as smartphones and social media sites can give a child a solid beginning to start bullying each other. On IKeepSafe.org, studies show cyberbullying starts on average around the age of 9. Although it can begin when a child first has access to the internet, which in today's world is at an unbelievably young age. This action is very damaging to adolescents because it can lead to anxiety, depression, drug usage, and suicide. Another reasoning it is harmful is because once it is on the internet, there is no taking it back. It is on there forever. Which means if someone is cyberbullied years ago and had gotten over the effects, it could resurface in the present and cause them to go through everything all over again. An example of why cyberbullying is a problem is the Amanda Todd case. NoBullying.com tells about Amanda's story in her famous YouTube video called My Story, Struggling, Bullying, Suicide, and Self-Harm, and its 17 million views. She posted this video on September 7, 2012, and on October 10, 2012, she was found hung in her home. Amanda had suffered blackmail with a picture of her breast she had sent with an online camera to a stranger. The stranger made a Facebook page with the picture of topless Amanda being the profile picture. Amanda moved from school to school, but could not overcome the state of depression she had fallen into. Cyberbullying is something that can be done anonymously, and most of the time with a devastating result such as a child taking their life. Now that I have discussed why cyberbullying is such a big issue, I will move on to discuss why it is happening. Cyberbullying is really just the same as any other type of bullying, but it is more appealing to people because of the fact that it can be done anonymously. According to DeleteCyberbullying.com, cyberbullying can come from popular kids to use it as a way to stay at the top of the popularity chain or just to hurt others. That way they can feel like they have more power. They also show that kids that are not as socially successful bully because it helps them cope with self-esteem. They think it will help them fit in with others around them. And lastly, they have trouble understanding when the person they bullied is hurt. Bullies' anger most of the time stems from their own issues or anger problems. Most kids that bully believe that what they are doing is socially acceptable or use it as a way to try to fit in with people around them. It also doesn't help with this terrible issue when the friends that these bullies have encourage them to keep doing what they are doing. Now that we know why people cyberbully, I will talk to you about the solutions that I believe can decrease the number of cyberbullying cases. How, you may ask? By increasing the punishments and consequences for those who participate in cyberbullying. If there are young people taking their lives due to cyberbullying, there definitely needs to be steps put in order for consequences and punishments to be made more severe so we can decrease the number of cyberbullying cases. The first step that I believe should be put into place starts at the child's school. If a person is sending messages through text or over social media that is hurting another student of the school, they should be expelled right then and there. There should be no exceptions or discussion about it. This brings me to my next step, where the people who didn't necessarily initiate the bullying, but they did participate, get their punishment. It would depend on how much involvement they had in the situation, but there is no doubt that they should get some kind of temporary suspension. Our third step includes both sets, whether you initiated the bullying or just participated in the cyberbullying. These kids should be dealt some sort of work or service hours for an extensive period of time so that they can constantly be reminded of the actions that they took part in. The last step is when the situation hits the most severe that it can get. If a child takes their own life because they underwent cyberbullying, the person on the other side should be given legal consequences. They should be convicted of murder because if you think about it, the kid that got bullied took their life because of them. How could that not be considered murder? So today we have discussed the proposed solution to decrease the amount of cyberbullying that is happening today and prevent it from happening in the future. First, we talked about why cyberbullying is such a huge issue, the problems that it causes, and how it leads to things such as anxiety, depression, drug usage, and suicide. Secondly, I talked to you about the reasonings behind why people cyberbully and gave you more of an understanding to what the people that cyberbully are thinking when they do it. Lastly, I proposed a couple of solution steps to increase the punishment and consequences for those that do participate in cyberbullying. So maybe they'll think about what they do before they do it again. If we could all come together and put the solution to use, we could demand a decrease in cyberbullying, and there is no doubt that we could be more successful. Thank you for listening to my speech today, and I hope you learned something.